What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, October 27th, 2023, and I have an emergency update to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:23 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and it appears that Israel is about to begin the long anticipated ground operation into Gaza. And at this hour, we're getting some information that there are massive explosions in Gaza right now, that Israel is conducting massive airstrikes in Gaza. And apparently, an IDF spokesman told CNN that they are now expanding ground operations in Gaza. Okay, keywords: expanding ground operations. Okay, we also have 4 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air right now. Okay, which is unusual to say the least. And last night we had this tanker exercise off the coast of California with like 20 plus aerial refuelers. So I think that tanker exercise is related to this expansion of ground operations that's currently underway. I think that the U.S. wants to make sure that their aerial refuelers are working and that the pilots are fresh and ready to go, because they're going to need to use those aerial refuelers when the U.S. and Israel conduct massive bombardments of Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and possibly Iran. Okay, so 4 nuclear war command and control planes airborne right now. Okay, normally you would only see 1 or 2 of these every other day. Okay, during the entire Ukraine war so far, we would see maybe 1 or 2 of these airborne on any given day. Now we have 4, 2 to 4 every single day. Okay, so the U.S. nuclear forces are operating at DEFCON 2, in my opinion. All right, so another weird thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but starting Wednesday, my views have dropped dramatically by like 50%. And the update that I did this morning was just totally much lower in terms of the number of views I normally get. And what's happening is YouTube is not promoting my videos anymore to people that are not subscribed to me. And I notice it's mostly with these updates. And what I think is going on is that probably someone in the government somewhere told YouTube and all social media platforms to suppress any information related to Israel and the Middle East right now, because Israel's about to start their ground operation and they don't want any compromising information getting out by alternative media. Okay, so I think that we're seeing a blackout on social media right now as far as Israel information goes. All right, and it's not just my channel, but several other channels reported a sudden drop Wednesday, just, a drop by 50% in their views. Okay, so something is about to go down. All right, they're trying to basically black out the information to prevent any kind of compromise of Israeli positions, Israeli forces, etc., anything that could be used by the enemy. So I will be going live tonight, most likely, to cover this, because it looks like the ground operation will be starting any hour now. So make sure you have your notifications set up. You have to hit the bell icon to set up notifications. And even if you have notifications set up, you're only going to get 3 notifications per 24 hours. So if I post more than 3 videos or live streams in a 24-hour period, you're not going to get anything beyond 3. That's just the way that YouTube has it set up. So you have to manually go and check my page periodically to make sure that I didn't post something that you weren't notified about. All right. So I want to just go through some of the latest information that I have. So, senior U.S. defense officials have stated that the two airstrikes on eastern Syria last night were near the city of Al Bukamal, and they were conducted by two F 16s of the U.S. Air Force. And the locations that were targeted consisted of a weapons storage facility and an ammunition storage facility used both by the IRGC and Iranian backed groups. It is currently unknown if there's any casualties resulting from that strike or if any Iranians were present at the facilities. And apparently, there were negotiations going on between Hamas and Israel mediated by Qatar, and they were going to set up a ceasefire agreement. And the deal was that Israel would give Hamas like 6,000 prisoners, and in return, Hamas would release the hostages. But it seems like for whatever reason, that deal fell through. Maybe Israel has intelligence that shows that those hostages have already been executed or something. I don't know. But that was the deal that was being worked on, and it seems like it might have fell through. So here we have the flight path of what appears to be an Israeli military reconnaissance plane or command post plane. You can see it's a white plane, and it's basically very similar to our nuclear war command and control planes and our doomsday planes. So this could be an Israeli nuclear war command and control plane or an Israeli doomsday plane. And they have this thing airborne because they're expecting their ground operation to start, and they want to make sure that they have their communications relays up in the air in case things get crazy and they have to launch nukes, because Israel does have nuclear weapons. Okay, they started building their nuclear weapons in the 1950s in the Negev nuclear research facility, and they have missile silos in the desert in Israel. They have missile silos. Israel does have a nuclear deterrent, and we also have an Israeli reconnaissance plane doing heavy reconnaissance, okay, off the coast of Israel. Look at this, guys. This is right now, this afternoon. And we know that the U.S. 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit has entered the Red Sea. This is coming from Sentinel satellite footage taken today at 7:46 UTC time. And it just got into the Red Sea, so it's near Yemen right now. Okay, so 2,500 Marines with this Marine Expeditionary Unit. And I played the video for you guys from the 30th anniversary of the Beirut Memorial, which was 4 days ago. And the leader of this Marine Expeditionary Unit, or he's one of the generals that they sent over to Israel, he's a Marine general. He said that he had very strong words for anybody thinking of attacking these Marines. He said that more or less that they would get annihilated. Okay. So the U.S. is getting ready. Okay. They didn't do that massive tanker exercise last night for nothing. Look at this, guys. There were probably like 30 tankers in the air off the coast of California last night. Look at this. This is insanity. Okay. We had 5 Pegasus aerial refuelers do an elephant walk, which is where they all take off at the same time from Travis Air Force Base. Okay. So get prepared. Things are about to get crazy. And my biggest fear is that once this war kicks off in the Middle East, you're going to have Russia, North Korea, and China taking advantage of it, and they're going to make moves. I think Russia is going to go after the Baltics, and I think maybe North Korea is going to go after South Korea, and maybe China is going to go after Taiwan. Okay, they're all going to make moves when this war in the Middle East kicks off. And I also believe that this was all planned ahead of time by Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, and Hezbollah, Hamas, all these groups. They all planned this whole thing out. This is a giant chess match. and they wanted to open up another front in the Middle East to get the U.S. involved there. And then while we're focusing on the Middle East and they're attacking our troops and our bases in the Middle East, that's when they're going to make their moves. And it's all going to happen at the same time. This is the beginning of World War III, possibly, guys. This is it. This could be what we've been prepping for the last 20 years or however long most of you guys have been prepping for. This could be the big one, okay? So I will go live this evening. If it does appear that the ground operation is starting, I will go live. But just know that there is a blackout right now on social media. And the Israeli Defense Forces are claiming that Hamas is using a giant hospital in the Gaza Strip as an underground base. This is the Al Shifa Hospital. And they provided video footage of the hospital and evidence to show that they're using this massive hospital as a base, essentially, an underground base. So let me play this for you. This is coming from the Israeli Defense Forces spokesman, Daniel Hagari.
You can see where it locates in Gaza City, the largest hospital in Gaza. It has over 1,500 beds, 4,000 staff, and now it has also more people around the surroundings of the hospital. The red marks that you've seen before and you'll see later are red marks of buildings that are involved with Hamas, and we know it, and we have the proofs that they are with involvement of Hamas. Hamas is cynically using hospitals and as a shield for its underground terror complex. I want to explain. There is an underground metro tunnels in Gaza City, not just in Gaza City. Usually it's based next to unique sites or sensitive sites, not just the hospital, but other sites as much.
So he's saying that they're building these underground bases next to sensitive sites, which, you know, is smart. They're using it as a shield, basically, because they know Israel's not going to bomb a hospital, right? Or other sensitive sites, religious sites, schools, whatever. Okay, so very, very concerning. And I want to just update you on Ukraine. The White House is saying that the Russian military is now executing its soldiers that don't obey orders. This was stated by the White House National Security spokesman John Kirby. He said, "We have information that the Russian military actually executes soldiers who refuse to obey orders. We also have information that Russian commanders are threatening to shoot entire units if they try to retreat from Ukrainian artillery fire." And we have some major breaking news being reported by the Dutch Well, or the Deutsche Well, that's German. Apparently, Ukraine is taking an operational pause on the southern front and is being cautious due to a possible budgetary blockade of further assistance from the U.S. Okay, so Ukraine is taking a pause in their counterattack. Now, we do know that Ukrainian pilots are being trained on F-16s now, and they just got the ATACMS missiles. So it looks like the counterattack in Ukraine may be delayed until the spring. We'll have to wait and see. But with everything going on in Israel, they probably sense that it makes sense to do a pause right now because they know that the U.S. is about to get involved in a major war in the Middle East, and all hell could break loose around the world. So I think that's a smart move. And South Korea and the U.S. are holding large-scale military drills amid North Korean artillery threats. South Korea and the United States have held a large-scale combined military exercise to hone response capabilities against North Korean long-range artillery threats, officials said Friday. The three-day drills involving more than 5,400 South Korean and U.S. troops and some 300 artillery pieces began Wednesday across the country amid renewed attentions on Seoul's readiness against possible North Korean artillery shelling in the wake of Hamas' recent surprise attack on Israel. And Estonia is saying that the three Baltic pipe and cable incidents are all related. and they're basically blaming China or Russia for their pipes getting damaged. And Finland did an investigation into one of these pipelines, and they found that an anchor was dragging along the ocean floor, and it dragged over the pipeline and damaged the pipeline. Normally, ships at sea don't drag anchors across the ocean floor. Okay, so obviously that was intentional, and there was a Chinese container ship sailing over the pipeline, okay, right around the time when it was cut. So it's possible that this Chinese container ship was dragging, this anchor on purpose to damage this pipeline. Two major pipelines were damaged, one from Sweden to Estonia and one from Finland to Estonia. And this could be the beginning preparations for an attack on Estonia and the Baltics. Okay, Russia and China are trying to basically cut the connections because they were telecommunications cables. Okay, so they're trying to cut the connections and isolate Estonia before they attack. And in the last 2 weeks, there's been like crazy heavy reconnaissance of the Baltic states. I've shown you guys all the flight paths of the combat Sentinel planes that have been flying like every second day over the Baltics. These are recon planes that are used by the president and the Joint Chiefs when they want to get immediate intelligence about something. And they've been flying those planes every second day over the Baltics. So, what I think could happen and could be the reason for Putin's visit to China is this whole thing was planned out. Okay, Putin went to China and probably discussed opening up other fronts when the U.S. gets involved in the Middle East soon, when this ground invasion kicks off. Then Russia's going to go after the Baltics, China will go after Taiwan, and North Korea will go after South Korea. That's what I'm really afraid of, guys. Okay, this could be the beginning of World War III right now. All right, so I'm not trying to scare anybody, but get prepared because we may only have hours before this whole thing kicks off. All right, and what you're looking at here is a NATO reconnaissance plane that flew all the way up to the Russian Arctic, where Russia has their nuclear armed submarines in the Kola Peninsula. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I will go live if this ground invasion does kick off tonight. Otherwise, I'll do a video update. But like I said, there is a blackout on social media. They're not promoting my videos like they were, like they normally do. So only my subscribers are seeing my videos, and even some people are not getting notified as much. Okay, they're trying to control the information. It seems like before this ground invasion starts. So just make sure you manually check my channel. So take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.